Welcome to a brand new episode of Exposed. I'm one of your hosts, Jessica Deere.
And I'm the Hogurate Cross.
We have a lot in store for you in this month's episode. First up, this month's youth role model is Megan White.
Jessica spoke to her about her latest project, so let's see how that's coming along.
Today I'll be interviewing this month's youth role model, Megan White. Megan is an artist who's currently finishing up her third year in art education at Concordia University. She's also had a few art exhibits so far, and if you may remember, she's also been on Exposed before. But today we're here to interview her about her latest news. She received a grant from the Girls Action Foundation in Montreal to start a youth magazine. A total of 10 projects were selected out of 40 that were proposed. So congratulations and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So first, what inspired you to start a youth magazine?
Well, I think what inspired me to do this was the fact that I really enjoy writing and I really enjoy creating, and I think it's a really great forum for people to talk about different issues, and I think a magazine is a great way to showcase that, because I know that there's a lot of creativity and there's a lot of thinking being done in the youth community, and I think it's important to create a forum where they can express those kind of ideas. And the reason why I thought that this magazine would be really essential is because at Concordia, I'm actually the editor of a peer-reviewed online journal. So I've had a lot of experience with collecting submissions and selecting them and editing them and creating a flow and working with the contributors to make sure that their works are ready for publication, and just to see the process and do the unveiling and sending it out to a global community is really important for not only the contributors but also for everybody to see what's going on. And I think it's a great way for people to just know what's happening for the youth.
So how far are you into the project right now? Like, do you have a theme selected or?
Well, I'm still in the planning phase right now, but we do have a theme selected. When I say we, it's because I'm actually working with another youth from Aguasasne, and we're planning to do a combined journal so that we can share our knowledges between communities, because I think that's also important to share, I guess, within nations and not just in towns. Mm-hmm. And so we're sharing different ideas. Like I find that here in Ganawage we have a really strong language base, and in Aguasasne there's a really strong traditional base. So it might be nice to share those kind of ideas and experiences to kind of strengthen that in each community and make us stronger and have a place to share our voices and our ideas. So going on from that, the theme that we're talking about is Native identity and what does it mean to be Native. And the points of view that you can take are political, it could be spiritual, traditional, or just talking about experiences of, being Native and going to a non-Native school, for instance, or what's it like to be in a Native school, and just kind of talk about those kind of ideas so people can understand what it's like to be a youth, and then to move forward from that and sort of project their ideas and make a greater difference.
So are you looking for youth to join your team?
Of course I am. I really want to get a lot of people involved in this kind of project, because I think it's really important for, like I said before, for people to have this kind of forum to talk. So I'm looking for two types of groups of people. One of them is to help me edit. So I'd be looking for youth in the community who enjoy writing, who are decent at writing, I guess, and editing and enjoy that kind of process, and who are really passionate about putting these kind of ideas together and creating flow and working within the theme. And the other groups of people I'm looking for are the contributors. So the joy of this journal is that I don't want it to just be writing. It doesn't have to be articles, let's say. You could put essays in there, you could put creative work, so it could be, like a short story of an experience that you had or inspired by it, or even visual arts. As an artist, I know that not everybody can speak through like the written word, and I want to open it up for those kind of learners and those kind of communications, for people to just have like a well-rounded view on what it's like to be here now.
So, when is this, like, what's the timeline of this whole project? When are you expected to finish it by, and when would you like people to start contacting you for submissions or wanting to be involved?
Well, as soon as possible, really. Projected wise, we're thinking that the deadline for the editing team to put that together would be April 13th, which is a Friday. And for submissions, we're looking around the April 21st zone. And we're hoping to spend weeks after that working both in Kahnawake and in Aguesasne. Part of the budget is going towards paying for travel, so people who want to join don't have to worry about, you know, traveling back and forth and paying for that. It's all covered in the budget that I put together. And yeah, we're expecting to have this journal completed and ready for publication, let's say, probably by the second week of May.
It sounds so quick.
Yeah, well, part of the grant, I guess, boundaries is that we have to have it within a certain timeline, and that's the timeline we're given. So that's why I thought, you know, a journal is something that is a lot of work, but one thing that's really great about it is that you can work from anywhere. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to meet every week in like a room. You know, the great thing about the internet, you know, you have Skype, you have chat, and you can talk over, you know, big distances like that to talk over themes. And I mean, we are planning to meet a few times, you know, to go over like the submissions, you know, do the selection process, also doing the editing and final edit, and of course when we launch it. We're planning to launch it both here and in Aguesasne, and yeah.
So, what do you expect out of the magazine? Do you, like, once this is done, like what's the future for it?
Well, I'd like to look at it as like a experimental starting point. A lot of like the artwork that I've done has involved the community and just looking at different ways to communicate these ideas that are really important for us as a community to talk about and to think about. So I see this as a great place to start creating a space to talk about these issues that's not confrontational, that's not as scary as, let's say, getting a big group together and talking. It's a great place to just not necessarily be anonymous, but in a way it's less like daunting, you know, like you're able to be in your own space and think about your own thoughts and share that without, you know, I can't think of the word right now. But yeah, I think I see it as something that can continue on, that, you know, if it has a lot of success in the community, that maybe we can apply for more grants or even do fundraising events, because people will know about it and people will know what they're contributing to, and just, you know, create new ideas and present new ideas and constantly think about issues that are happening and that aren't necessarily being talked about by the youth. And I think it's important for youth to talk about it, because we are going to be the leaders of the community, you know, in a few years, you know, and I think it's important for people who are interested in taking those kind of positions to talk about these issues and to bring that forward so that they're more prepared and have a community of people who are thinking about it, so that when that time comes, they can take on these positions and go for it strongly and not as hesitantly.
Well, I don't doubt that you'll get a lot of replies. I know we have a lot of great young artists and people who like writing, hint, hint. But if anyone is interested in being involved in this, how can they contact you?
Well, you can contact me over email, which is meganwhyte@live.ca. It's MEGANWHYTE@live.ca. Yeah, or you can contact me via Facebook, even. Just if you have any questions or whatnot, but submissions would go towards that email. But I will have other places where you can get this kind of information. I'm working on putting an ad in the Eastern Door and talking about it on the radio and just trying to get people more involved and spending the next few weeks just advertising and talking about it so people have a better understanding when they want to contribute.
So thank you for letting me interview you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that. we're both excited to see when the final magazine gets published.
Yes. And if you know anyone who you consider a youth role model, send us an email at exposed@mohawktv.ca. We'd love to feature them on the show.
We have to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more Exposed.